The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello English lovers and nature lovers, welcome back to this Disney Guru Chill Ed, the virtual platform for children to learn at home. What was your previous lesson? Did you enjoy the sunrise on the hills? Was it not enchanting? Did you not enjoy the sight of the powerful night, the sun, who with much eagerness, excitement, curiosity and with extreme love to meet his princess, the lady love, the lush green nature? The poetic description was so beautiful, isn't it? We get a visual impact and I am sure that you enjoyed the aerial view of clouds and valleys. It was really a good trekking to the hilltop, isn't it? Children, have you ever traveled by a flight? Can you share your experience? How was it? And even if you have not traveled, you can even imagine or assume, or you might have heard from your friends, isn't it? With that experience, you can jot it down. Initially, we will be much thrilled about the travel and journey, isn't it? Because it's going to be your first journey on flight. And you'll be excited about it and you will be even a bit nervous too. Why? Some of us, we have air sickness. The moment the flight is ready for a takeoff or at the time of takeoff, a few of us will have a bit dizzy or a vomiting sensation, isn't it? Only for the first time, not always. Because it's going to be your first trip and journey. And once when the journey begins, you start enjoying the sceneries from the top. Very beautiful, isn't it? Our palatial buildings look like a tiny speck from the top. Like even microbes, isn't it? But still, that sight is so wonderful and beautiful. Even before Wright brothers took to skies, there were Montgolfier brothers, Joseph Michael and Jacques Edney, the inventors of hot air balloon. The inventors of hot air balloon. That was the very first attempt where they proved air travel is very successful. And it was even before 200 years. And only right now, less than a decade, it has took its way to India. Riding in a hot air balloon is one of the most surreal experience that one can have. Looking things from the height. Yeah, hills, trees, valleys, it all becomes a most special experience. The balloon ride sounds so exhilarating, but Only people with much courage will be ready to dare this difference. Floating over skies, thrill seekers will get much experience and you'll get a bird's eye view from the top. Nature is the best jewel, priceless jewel. And the best way to experience the beauty of this jewel is that you take a journey in the hot air balloon to enjoy the panoramic view of this nature. Nowadays, this hot air balloon journey or travel is being made easy for a common man with the undertaking of the tourism department. Kerala tourism department, Tamil Nadu tourism department, everybody has taken up their plunge in introducing this hot air balloon journey to the tourist sites. And even at Pollachi, they celebrate International Hot Air Balloon Festival. For more than 6 years they are celebrating, and even at Palakkad they took up a trial to introduce this hot air balloon journey at Fort Maidan. It was not successful for the initial attempt as the weather was not conducive. Do heights give you thrills or chills? If it is thrills, you are definitely going to enjoy this lesson. As a bird you can fly, or as a Superman you can travel and to explore the beautiful sightseeing, the trip of Lee Horla. Okay, it is a very short story written by Gadget Materials. So it's a journey from Paris to Belgium. Okay, so Lee Horla is a French word that means, Lee means there and Horla means outsider. So Lee Horla means the one out there. Shall we see to this travelogue? Hello children, shall we begin with the lesson? On the morning of July 8th, I received the following telegram. Fine day, always my predictions. Belgium frontier, baggage and servants leave at noon at the social session. Beginning of maneuvers at 3. So I will wait for you at the works from 5 o'clock on. Jovis. Yes, what was it? It was a telegram from Jovis. Okay, what is special about the sentence in the telegram? See, message is conveyed through short phrases, not lengthy lines. Okay, so it is accepted in telegram. Telegram was once a means of communication earlier, before these technologies were introduced, for urgent messages to be conveyed, telegrams were used. Okay, so always my predictions that will happen in future. Okay, frontier, borders. Okay, so baggage and servants leave at noon at the social sessions. Beginning of the maneuver, something like works till 3. So I will wait for you at the works from 5 o'clock on. At 5 o'clock sharp, I entered the gas works of Lee Villets. So it is a narration by Gadget Materials, the French novelist, story writer. As it is a narration, this I stands for the narrator, Gadget Materials. Okay. The balloon is lying in the courtyard and has the appearance of a cake made of yellow cloth flat on the ground under a rope. So the author compares the balloon to a cake. Okay. 200 or 300 people are looking at it. sitting or standing, and some are examining the basket. A nice little square basket for a human cargo, bearing on its side in gold letters on a mahogany plate the words Lee Horla. Okay, so now there's a basket to which the balloon is going to be tied with, and the basket carries the name Lee Horla written on a mahogany plate, a type of wood. Suddenly, the people begin to stand back, for the gas is beginning to enter into the balloon through a long tube of yellow cloth which lies on the soil, swelling and undulating like an enormous worm. See the picturization of the situation. Undulating like an enormous worm. The tube through which the gas was filled was like an enormous worm. You might have seen the worms moving from one place to another. Undulating, like moving up and down like a worm, like a wave. Okay, it was swelling and undulating like an enormous worm. But another thought, another picture occurs to every mind. Even it gives you another picturization, or you can take you to another imagination, to your creativity. And what was it all about? What is the other thought that occurs in every mind? See, it is a baby in a womb. How a baby is fed in the womb? It is through the umbilical cord, isn't it? It is fed through the umbilical cord. So here the tube is compared to the umbilical cord of the womb. Okay. It is thus that nature itself nourishes beings until their birth. This is how the nature nourishes or feed the infants until they come out and have their independent life. The creature that will rise soon begins to move, and the attendants of Captain Jovis, as Lee Horla's grows larger, spread and put in place the net which covers it, so that the pressure will be regular and equally distributed at every point. Okay, now the gas is filled to the balloon. To make it regular and equally distributed, what they did is they placed a net over the balloon so that it will help the balloon to grow larger, spread, and the gas will be distributed at every point. Now, the crowd has begun to talk, and some men who appear to be specialists affirm with authority that we shall come down before reaching the fortification. Several other things have been criticized in this novel type of balloon with which we are about to experiment with so much pleasure and success. Meanwhile, the balloon is growing slowly but surely. Now you feel, or now you understand the attitude of people. People belong to two categories, right? Positive and negative. Attitude of people. Optimistic people and pessimistic people. So here the spectators were negative. For everything they found a reason to criticize, and they were very sure that this balloon is not going to reach the destination. Very sure. But the passengers who were ready to take up the board over this balloon were highly excited, and they were so happy and optimistic and positive that they will definitely reach the destination. So now you understand the attitude of people who have gathered there, the spectators and passengers. Okay, while Captain Jovis, Captain Jovis takes up a eminent role in flying this hot air balloon. While Captain Jovis and his assistants are busy with the last details, minute things to be taken care, isn't it? The travelers go to dine in the canteen of the gas works according to the established custom. Established custom? It is a habitual practice. Once when the work is over, everybody will be ready to go for a dine. Food. Okay, so it happened. So, what is the established custom mentioned here? Going to the canteen of the gasworks and to have food together. Okay. When we come out again, the balloon is swaying, enormous and transparent and prodigious golden fruit, a fantastic pear which is still ripening, covered by the last rays of the setting sun. What's the time when the balloon is ready to fly? It was evening, no? Evening, dusk. See, it was the last rays of the setting sun that glistened over this balloon, which was like a golden fruit, it seems. Prodigious, gigantic, colossal, beautiful, like a pear fruit. You have seen pear? It's still ripening. Ripening time, what will be the color of the fruit? The raw will be in green color, and once when it ripens, it takes up the golden yellow shade, isn't it? So now, the setting sun's rays falling over this balloon, no? It was like a ripening pear fruit. Now the basket is attached. The barometers are brought. The siren, which will blow to our heart's content, is also brought. Also the two trumpets, the eatables, the overcoats and raincoats, all the small articles that can go with a man in the flying basket. All the essentials for the journey was carried by them. Barometers, what is the use of barometer? To see to the heights, isn't it? Siren, to give a blow to their arrival or to give a happy content feeling. Eatables for them to eat. Overcoats, raincoats, might be they are not aware or sure about the climatic condition, isn't it? So if it rains, they need a raincoat and all the small articles. Now Captain Jovis is now ready and calls all the passengers, the duty of a leader. Lieutenant Mallet jumps aboard, climbing first on the aerial net between the basket and the balloon. Aerial, high, elevated, from which he will watch during the night. The movements of Lee Horla across the skies as the officer on watch standing on starboard watches the course of the ship. Monsieur Etienne Bear gets in after him. Then comes Monsieur Paul Besson and Monsieur Patrice Eriks, and I get in last. So, responsibility for each and every one was fixed even before the journey. And who is the captain? Captain Jovis. The responsibility of the captain is to board everyone, and only finally the captain gets it. Okay, but the basket is too heavy for the balloon. Considering the long trip to be taken, and Monsieur Eriks has to get out, not without regret. Why? Why does Monsieur Eriks get out of the balloon? Is he regretful? Why? Because he has already planned for this adventurous trip. See, having a journey or getting a journey over the hot air balloon is really an adventurous trip, and you should be very lucky enough to enjoy the trip, isn't it? Thinking that he will be missing all the fun, he was so regretful, but still he wanted to support his companions that they should have a happy journey, so that he voluntarily got out of the balloon. Monsieur Juliet, standing erect on the edge of the basket, begs the ladies in a very gallant terms to stand aside a little, for he is afraid he must throw sand on their hats in rising. Then he commands, "Let it loose," and cutting with one stroke of his knife the ropes that holds the balloon to the ground, he gives Lee Horla its liberty. Liberty? A complete freedom from the earth to enjoy the world of the wonderful sky. So at that time, he gave an advice and even a warning for those people to move away from that place, as it may throw sand over their heads in rising. So now the Lee Horla has got its full liberty, full freedom to enjoy the world of sky. In 1 second, we fly skyward. Nothing can be heard. We float, we rise, we fly, we glide. See to the experience of those people, the narration. Our friends shout with glee and applaud, but we hardly hear them, we hardly see them. Hardly hear them, we hardly see them. Not possible to see them and hear them. We are already so far, so high. What? Are we really leaving these people down there? Is it possible? No. But after completing this journey, very safely and happily, we'll be back. Now the journey is from Paris to Belgium. Now in this paragraph, you can see the aerial view of Paris. Aerial view from the heights. Okay. Paris spreads out beneath us, a dark bluish patch cut by its streets, from which rise here and there domes, towers, steeples. Then around it the plain, the country, traversed by long roads, thin and white amidst green fields of a tender or dark green and woods almost black. Now we have got a visual treat of Paris, the aerial visual treat of Paris. The sun, which we could no longer see down below, now reappears. In fact, we can see whether we are rising or sinking only by throwing a cigarette paper out of the basket now and then. If this paper appears to fall down like a stone, it means the balloon is rising. If it appears to shoot skyward, the balloon is descending. What is cigarette paper? Lightweight paper. Cigarette paper are not so thick. Why does it happen so? Can you view from an aeroplane as picturesque as this balloon view? No, isn't it? You cannot view. It is not possible to, because flight aeroplane flies in great speed and great height. But this balloon not to that height, isn't it? It is a bit slower and even to the lower heights. So the view from an aeroplane as well as from a balloon is different. How do they understand whether this balloon is ascending or descending? Descending, coming down. Ascending, going to the top. It is by throwing a cigarette paper. The two barometers mark about 500 meters, and we gaze with enthusiastic admiration at the earth we are living and to which we are not attached in any way. We are leaving earth and we are going to a place to which we are not attached in any way. It looks like a colored map, an immense plan of the country. You have seen to the plan of your house, isn't it? Likewise, the plan of the earth you live is so beautiful when you witness it from the heights. All its noises, however, rise to our ears very distinctly, very clearly, and easily recognizable too. We hear the sound of the wheels rolling in the streets, the snap of a whip, the cries of drivers, the rolling and whistling of trains, and the laughter of small boys running one after the another. Everything is audible. Wheels rolling in the streets, the snap of a whip. What is whip? Whip, you might have seen, it is used to beat or it is used to tame animals. Okay, in Malayalam you call it as chata. Snap of a whip. What is snap? It is a sound when beating with a whip, the snap of a whip, the cries of drivers, rolling and whistling of trains, and even the laughter of the boys running one after the another was even heard. Every time we pass over a village, the noise of children's voices heard above the rest, and with greatest distinctness, very clearly. It was recognizable. The view is very superb. It is dark on the earth, but we are still in the light, and it is now past 10 o'clock. So which light they are in now? Moonlight, isn't it? Now we begin to hear slight country noises, the double cry of quail in particular, then the mewing of the cats and the barking of the dogs. At night, these noises, these voices are a bit scary. You become frightened. Everywhere you see only darkness, and even the sight of the darkness makes you frightened. Then the mewing of the cats and the barking of the dogs. Surely the dogs have scented the balloon. They have seen it and they have given the alarm. How do they give alarm? By barking. When they see some strange things coming or the strange sounds they hear, they immediately give an alarm by barking. We can hear them barking all over the plain and making the identical noise they make when baying at the moon. The cows also seem to wake up in the barns, for we can hear them lowing sound, low-pitched sound made by the cows. Where are they wake up? In the barns. Barns, it is a storing place of grains. All the bees are scared and moved before the aerial monster that is passing. Which is the aerial monster here? This hot air balloon which is on the sky. So all the bees, when they see the strange thing passing over the sky, they got scared. The delicious odors of the soil rise towards us. The smell of hay, of flowers, of the moist, verdant earth perfuming the air. Now, which is the type of imagery used here? That you can smell, isn't it? Yes. The delicious odors of the soil rise towards us. The smell of the hay, of flowers, of moist, verdant earth, verdant green. Abundance, fresh. Okay, earth perfuming the air. At times we rise and then descend. Every few minutes, Lieutenant Mallet, suspended in his cob web of netting, says to Captain Jervis, "We are descending. Throw down half a handful." And the captain, who is talking and laughing with us, with a bag of ballast between his legs, takes a handful of sand out of the bag and throws it overboard. Now, who is giving an advice? Lieutenant Mallet. Okay, so he says, standing by the side of the basket, and now he understands whether it is descending or ascending. So immediately he gives advice, because there is no control over this balloon, because it moves as per the direction of the wind. Nothing is more amusing, more delicate, more interesting than the maneuvering of the balloon. It is an enormous toy, free and docile, which obeys with surprising sensitiveness. Docile? It is under control. It is a toy, an enormous toy, very free because it moves according to the wind, but also under control. But it is also, and before all, the slave of the wind. It is free like a toy and also slave of the wind. A pinch of sand, half a sheet of paper, 1 or 2 drops of water, the bones of a chicken we have just eaten thrown overboard makes it go up quickly. So, the balloon raises and sinks according to the things that is dropped from the basket. Because if it is caught by a storm, nobody can help, isn't it? So, they will have to take care of how to make this balloon fly, either by dropping the weight or gaining the weight or moving the direction. The earth sleeps now because it is 10:30. The earth sleeps now, or rather men sleep on earth. For the bees, awakened by the sight of a balloon, announce their approach everywhere. You cannot say the complete earth sleeps now because only human beings have slept. For the bees are awakened by the sight of the strange balloon. It announces their approaches everywhere. A strong and continuous odor of gas can be plainly observed. We must have encountered a current of warm air and the balloon expands, losing its invisible blood by the escape valve. Can you observe the odor? No, isn't it? You can only smell. But here, why does the author say so? Because it is gas, you can feel that, and losing its invisible blood. Blood, you can see that, isn't it? Blood keeps the body alive for human beings. And what keeps the balloon alive? The gas. And the gas is invisible. Okay. The gas keeps the balloon alive as the blood keeps the body alive, and so the gas is invisible. So the invisible blood escapes through the valve. We are rising. The earth no longer gives back the echo of our trumpets. We have risen almost 2000 feet. It is not light enough for us to consult the instruments. We only know that the rice paper falls from us like dead butterflies. How does the dead butterfly fall? We are rising, always rising. We can no longer see the earth. A light mist separates us from it, and above our head twinkles a world of stars. A silvery light appears before us and makes the sky turn pale, and suddenly, as if it is rising from unknown depths behind the horizon below us, rises the moon on the edge of the cloud. It seems to be coming from below, while we are looking down upon it from a great height, edge of our basket, like an audience on a balcony. Here, the rising of the moon is described. The rising of the moon is from behind the horizon below us, and the rising of the moon is watched or gazed by the people like an audience on a balcony from the basket of this balloon. Clear and round, it emerges from the clouds and slowly rises in the sky. The earth no longer seems to exist. It is buried in the milky vapors that resemble a sea. Sky is also vast like sea, isn't it? We are now alone in space with a moon, which looks like another balloon traveling opposite us. So now it is a metaphor. Okay, and balloon which shines in the air appears like another larger moon, a world wandering in the sky amid the stars through infinity. We no longer speak, think, nor even live. We float along through space in delicious inertia. Inertia, no movement. So we are highly excited and we were so happy. We have now become something indescribable, birds who do not even have to flap their wings. The excitement of the people who are traveling in the basket of this balloon, they say that they were more or less like a birds that even do not have to flap their wings. So let this journey be so successful, and right now we will wind up and we'll meet you with the rest of the lesson by the next week. By then, I hope you might have read this whole lesson so that it will be easy for us to move on with the further passages. Okay? Hope to meet you soon. Bye.